This video is just a little bit more practice with adding and subtracting rational expressions. So let's start with this example here. Pause your video and find the lowest common multiple of these denominators. We see that the first expression needs x minus 6 and x plus 1. And then we also see that the second expression needs an x minus 5. We already have the x plus 1. Okay, so I've factored the denominators here, and we can see that we want this lowest common multiple of the denominators that we have here, but that's not what we have in each of these places. And that's why step 2 was to create that equivalent expression by multiplying the numerator and the denominator of each term by its missing factors. So what's missing? When I look at my first expression, I have x minus 6 times x plus 1. I can see that we're missing the x minus 5. So let's multiply the numerator and the denominator here by x minus 5. When I look at the second expression, I see that I have x minus 5 and x plus 1. We're missing the x minus 6. Why don't you pause your video here and simplify the numerator? So you opened the brackets and simplified the numerator. Remember, you were asked to leave your answer in factored form. So we saw that 2 is common in the numerator, but there's nothing to divide out. That's just our answer in factored form. And most of the time with these kinds of denominators in Pearson, you will be asked to leave your answer in factored form. So this is fine. Finally, we need to find our restrictions. If you haven't already done so, please do that now. Remember to find your restrictions. We're looking at the factors in the denominator. The denominator cannot equal 0. So we see that the factor x minus 6 cannot equal 0. X cannot equal 6. X plus 1 cannot equal 0. X cannot equal -1, and x minus 5 cannot equal 0. So x cannot equal 5. We see that we have 3 restrictions here for this question. Here's another one. Why don't you pause your video, find the lowest common denominator here. We see that our first expression needs 2 factors of x minus 3. Our second expression needs a factor of x plus 3 and 1 factor of x minus 3, but we already have 2. Why don't you pause your video now and finish this question? We can see that our first expression is missing that factor of x plus 3. So we're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by x plus 3. Our second expression only has 1 factor of x minus 3 in the denominator. We need 2 factors of x minus 3. Be careful when you open the brackets in the numerator. Watch that negative sign. Why don't you finish this question up? You were asked to leave your final answer in factored form, but we can't factor that trinomial 2x squared plus 9x minus 3 any further, so this is the end of our answer. And your restrictions, you had to look at these factors at the denominator. Remember, we have two factors of x minus 3, so we can see that x cannot equal 3 because 3 minus 3 would give us 0. And x cannot equal negative 3 because negative 3 plus 3 would give us 0. And the denominator cannot equal 0. One last question here. Again, pause your video, find the lowest common multiple of the denominators. So we factored the denominators. When we looked at our first expression, we saw that it needed the factors of x minus 5 and x plus 3. When we looked at our second denominator, we already have the x minus 5, but we also needed x plus 4. Why don't you finish this question up now? Make sure you leave your answer in factored form. So again, you multiplied each term by its missing factors, x plus 4 in the first term and x plus 3 in the second term. You remembered there was this subtraction sign, so you had to be subtracting this entire product, and you finished up here, x squared plus 2x minus 17 all over the lowest common multiple of the denominators. And looking at our factors in the denominator, we see that x cannot equal 5, negative 3, or negative 4. Make sure you spend a bit more time on these this week, that you're ready for your quizzes. Check the due dates in Pearson. Make sure you're aware of everything that's upcoming.